Imagine waking up 10 years from now, only to realize you did everything society told you to do, worked hard, saved money, avoided risks, and you're still not financially free. That's the uncomfortable truth most people never talk about. Saving money is important. It shows discipline, responsibility, and maturity. But here's the problem. Saving alone rarely creates wealth. Your savings account was designed to protect your money, not multiply it. While inflation quietly eats away at your purchasing power, your bank gives you pennies in return. Meanwhile, investors let their money work for them every single day. The difference between ordinary people and financially free people is not usually income. It's strategy. One person stores money. Another person grows money. And over time, that gap becomes enormous. Because real wealth doesn't come from how hard you work for money. It comes from how hard your money works for you. What if the biggest financial secret in the world is something most people completely ignore for decades? It's called compound growth, and it quietly creates millionaires. At first, the numbers don't look impressive. A few dollars here, a few dollars there. Nothing life-changing. That's why most people quit too early. They underestimate what time can do to money. But compounding is different. It's not just growth, it's growth building on top of growth. Year after year. Imagine planting a tiny seed today and watching it become a massive tree years later. That's exactly how wealth works. The people who become financially free are not always the smartest or the highest paid. They're usually the ones who started early and stayed consistent long enough for compounding to explode. Money invested today can become multiple times bigger in the future without you working extra hours. And once you truly understand compounding, you stop chasing fast money, because you realize slow growth is how real wealth is built. Here's a brutal truth nobody teaches in school. The biggest financial gap in life is not between rich people and poor people. It's between people who only save money and people who learn how to invest it. That single difference changes everything. Two people can earn the same salary, live in the same city, and work equally hard. But years later, one struggles paycheck to paycheck while the other quietly builds financial freedom. Why? Because one person keeps trading time for money, while the other learns how to make money grow on its own. Saving money creates security. Investing creates opportunity. And the scary part? Most people stay stuck in the saving stage forever because it feels safe. But safety alone rarely creates wealth. The people who win financially are usually not reckless risk takers. They simply understand that money sitting still slowly loses power over time. The moment you stop thinking only like a saver and start thinking like an investor, your entire future can change. If you're ready to level up financially, comment 1 below. What if the real reason most people never build wealth has nothing to do with money, and everything to do with fear? That fear controls millions of people every day. Saving feels comfortable because it gives certainty. You can open your bank account and see the number sitting there untouched. It feels safe, predictable. But investing is different. Prices move. Markets fluctuate. Some days your portfolio goes up. Other days it drops. And emotionally, that scares people away before they ever give themselves a chance to win. But here's the truth successful investors understand. Volatility is normal. Fear is temporary. Long-term growth is powerful. The stock market has always moved in cycles. Yet over decades, it has continued creating enormous wealth for patient investors. The people who achieve financial freedom are not fearless. They simply learn how to act despite uncertainty. Because in the end, the greatest financial risk is often not investing at all, but spending your entire life playing too safe. What if one unexpected emergency could destroy years of financial progress overnight? That's exactly why smart investing always begins with one thing first: protection. Before you chase stocks, profits, or financial freedom, You need a solid emergency fund. Because life is unpredictable. A job loss, medical bill, car repair, or sudden crisis can happen when you least expect it. And without cash reserves, many people are forced to sell investments at the worst possible time, turning temporary problems into long-term financial setbacks. An emergency fund is not wasted money sitting idle. It's financial armor. It gives you peace of mind, emotional stability, and the confidence to invest without panic. The strongest investors are not the ones taking the biggest risks. They're the ones prepared for uncertainty before it arrives. That's why building wealth is not only about making more money. It's about creating a foundation strong enough to survive difficult seasons while your investments continue growing for the future. What if the secret to feeling confident about investing has nothing to do with picking the perfect stock? Most people feel stressed about money because they mix everything together. Their emergency savings, monthly expenses, and investment money all sit in the same mental bucket. So when the market drops, panic takes over instantly. But financially successful people think differently. They separate their money with purpose. One bucket is safety money, cash for emergencies, stability, and peace of mind. The other is growth money, money designed to build wealth over time through investing. And once you mentally separate those two, something powerful happens. Fear starts disappearing. Because you stop expecting investment money to behave like savings money. This shift sounds simple, but it changes the entire emotional game of investing. It allows you to stay calm during market volatility and think long-term instead of emotionally reacting to short-term fear. The wealthiest investors are not always smarter. They're often just more emotionally disciplined. If you're ready to start thinking like an investor, comment 1 below. What if becoming an investor has nothing to do with being rich, and everything to do with simply starting? That's the part most people get wrong. They believe investing is only for people with thousands of dollars, fancy financial knowledge, or perfect timing. So they wait, and years pass without ever taking the first step. But wealth is rarely built in giant leaps. It's built through small consistent actions repeated over time. Even investing $50 or $100 a month can completely change your future if you stay consistent long enough. Because the real goal in the beginning is not making huge profits, it's building the identity and habit of an investor. Every successful investor started as a beginner. Every large portfolio started small. The moment you begin investing, even with a tiny amount, you stop being someone who only works for money and start becoming someone learning how to make money work for you. And that single mindset shift can change your entire financial future forever. What if the smartest investment strategy in the world is actually the most boring one? That surprises a lot of people. Most beginners think successful investing means constantly chasing hot stocks, timing the market, or finding the next crypto explosion. But history shows something different. The investors who quietly build the most long-term wealth are often the ones using the simplest strategies consistently. That's why index funds have become one of the most powerful tools for ordinary people. Instead of trying to predict which company will win, index funds allow you to invest in hundreds of companies at once. Less stress, more diversification, lower emotional decision-making, and over time, steady growth compounds into something extraordinary. The truth is, complicated strategies often create more anxiety than results. Simple investing works because it removes ego, fear, and constant guessing from the equation. Real wealth is not usually built through excitement. It's built through patience, consistency, and letting time do the heavy lifting while your money quietly grows in the background. What if financial freedom is not built by one big investment, but by small investments repeated for years? That's the hidden power most people underestimate. Many people think wealth comes from huge salaries, lucky breaks, or perfect timing. But real investing success often comes from something much simpler: consistency. Investing a small amount every single month may not feel exciting today. But over time, it can completely transform your future. Because every dollar invested starts working like an employee that never sleeps. And eventually, compounding begins doing more work than you do. That's the moment everything changes. The people who become financially free are usually not the ones chasing shortcuts. They are the ones patient enough to stay consistent while everyone else quits too early. Small monthly investments may look insignificant in the beginning, but years later, they can grow into life-changing wealth. Success in investing is rarely about intensity. It's about endurance. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner your money starts building a future far bigger than your paycheck alone could ever create. What if market crashes are not the enemy of investors, but actually one of the greatest opportunities to build wealth? That sounds crazy at first, especially when everyone around you is panicking. When the market drops, headlines become negative, fear spreads everywhere, and millions of people rush to sell. But experienced investors see something completely different. They understand that downturns are temporary, while long-term growth has historically continued for decades. In fact, market crashes often allow disciplined investors to buy valuable assets at lower prices. That's why emotional control matters more than intelligence in investing. The people who build lasting wealth are not the ones who avoid volatility completely. They are the ones who stay calm while others react emotionally. Because every market recovery in history has rewarded patience. Fear makes people quit too early. Discipline helps people grow rich slowly over time. And sometimes, the greatest financial opportunities appear during the moments that look the most uncertain. If you believe long-term thinking beats short-term fear, comment 1 below. What if the people who become wealthy are not thinking differently for 1 week, but differently for decades? That's the mindset shift most people never make. The average person reacts emotionally to daily news, market drops, and short-term problems. They want immediate results, fast profits, and instant success. But long-term investors understand something powerful: real wealth takes time to grow. They don't focus on what happens this week. They focus on where they'll be 10, 20, or 30 years from now. And that long-term perspective changes everything. Instead of panicking during volatility, they stay patient. Instead of chasing trends, they stay disciplined. Instead of quitting early, they allow compounding to keep working quietly in the background. Financial success is rarely about being perfect. It's about staying consistent longer than most people are willing to. Because the market rewards patience far more than emotion. And the people who eventually achieve financial freedom are often the ones who simply refuse to stop believing in the process when things became uncomfortable. What if the difference between staying financially stuck and becoming financially free can be explained with one simple image? Imagine holding a jar full of seeds. That's what saving money looks like for most people. The seeds are safe, protected, untouched. But no matter how long they stay in the jar, nothing grows. The potential is there, but the future never changes. Now imagine planting those same seeds into the ground. At first, it looks messy, slow, uncertain. You don't see results overnight. But beneath the surface, something powerful is happening. Roots begin growing. Over time, tiny seeds become something far bigger than you ever imagined. That's exactly how investing works. Saving protects your future. Investing expands it. And the people who build real wealth understand that growth always requires patience before results become visible. The hardest part is often trusting the process long enough for the invisible progress to finally become undeniable. Because financial freedom is rarely created instantly, it's grown gradually over time. What if the biggest financial breakthrough of your life begins the moment you stop seeing saving and investing as enemies, and start using them together? That's the realization that changes everything. Saving money gives you stability. It protects you during difficult times and gives you peace of mind when life becomes unpredictable. But investing is what gives you growth, freedom, and the ability to create a future bigger than your paycheck. The most financially successful people don't choose one or the other. They master both. They save enough to feel secure, then invest enough to let compounding build wealth quietly in the background year after year. And the earlier you start combining those two habits, the more powerful your future becomes. Because financial freedom is not usually built through one lucky moment. It's built through small, smart decisions repeated consistently over time. Your money should not spend its entire life sitting still. It should be learning how to grow while you sleep. If you want more videos that simplify wealth building and help you think like an investor, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join the journey.